Minister for his speech. Now I'd like to call upon the Deputy Leader of the Opposition to further the case for his side.
No, I haven't started. I'm going to deliver a couple of pieces of substantive. One, how this specifically targets Muslim groups, and that's a bad thing and a harm. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the general societal impact, and then what the value of free speech and how we adjudicate that is. Before I go into that, a couple of points of rebuttal. First, addressing this point of offense is a bottomless pit. We say, ladies and gentlemen, that I can use the exact same argument to describe anything that we subjectively judge in society today. It's a bottomless pit of when murder is intent and this thing. It's a bottomless pit of please sit down, sir. It's a bottomless pit when you discuss offense or free speech in the sense of harms that are direct and related, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bottomless pit for any of these ideas. It's a bottomless pit in what's an AT speech, ladies and gentlemen. So I think there's some subjective guidelines on that. But we say beyond that, we say we have given you objective standards. We have said, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a key article of faith, something they ignored, of a religion, and we say this is pretty widely accepted in society today, that it is acceptable to do so. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, given that their only harm is for some reason you cannot adjudicate, even though Western liberal democracies already have courts to decide upon these things, ladies and gentlemen, already make decisions regarding these very factors, already make things like when is it not okay to have a racial slur and when is that unacceptable. When courts can adjudicate what transpires the boundary between a racial slur and anti-Semitic slur, what constitutes hate speech, ladies and gentlemen, when there are those laws that exist, we don't see why they can continue to exist. Second point, ladies and gentlemen, that then what is this idea of mob democracy, mobs taking over the rule of law? We say when you have not then shown any harm to curtailing that kind of a speech, and when a lot of people want you to curtail that kind of speech, there's a word for it. It's democracy, ladies and gentlemen. It's not it's not a tyranny of the democracy because you've not shown me any harms coming out of curtailing that kind of a speech. I'll take a POS.
So, how is Joey offended by going to church on Sunday if someone burns a Bible halfway across the world?
Joey may not be, ladies and gentlemen, but a lot of Christians may be because they feel that the Bible is their holy book. They feel that their holy book has been given to them by God. It is a key and critical article that must be respected and has an identity of its own. If they feel so strongly about that, where is the harm, ladies and gentlemen, in stopping nut jobs from burning it? Because I'm an atheist too, but I don't go around burning Bibles, ladies and gentlemen. I don't go around burning Qurans. There is a type of person who does. I'm going to discuss them when I come to harms, ladies and gentlemen. We don't see how that in any way, and they've not shown us either, adds to the value of speech being spoken, adds to the value of discussion, and adds to the marketplace of ideas, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's not even a legitimate form of protest, if that's what closing is going to come up with, because it antagonizes two communities, ladies and gentlemen, and doesn't tell you anything or criticize anything about whether the religion is right or wrong. I just told you. Let me move on to my arguments, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly then, why does it specifically target Muslim groups? Let's look at context, ladies and gentlemen, in Western liberal democracies. Largely Christian nations that are now facing an influx of Muslim groups, ladies and gentlemen, and having to deal with multicultural issues for the first time in their life. I find this amusing as coming from a country that has dealt with multicultural issues for our entire life, and I can tell you one thing, it's not pretty, ladies and gentlemen. You need laws and protections to prevent a majority group, ladies and gentlemen, from dominating the discussion, and not just dominating the discussion, ladies and gentlemen, dominating how that discussion takes place. In an environment of perfect free speech, which is what they have set up, ladies and gentlemen, what you do is you give avenues and opportunities to people who want to hijack that discussion. Politically motivated groups who dislike, and for bigoted reasons, these minority religions. Why is that dangerous, ladies and gentlemen? You've seen it in Europe when it comes to geek builders. You've seen it in other racist parties that speak out against Islam, ladies and gentlemen. When they're given the perfect free platform, then they publish things like fitna and which says Islam is an evil religion, and they cater to that demography which is only growing, ladies and gentlemen, because they are the loudest voice, and they cannot be anything but the loudest voice, as Joey has also pointed out. We say the problem with that, ladies and gentlemen, is it one, not only does it curtail freedom of speech, as Joey has already pointed out, but we say the further problem with that is that it also entrenches this inside of people's minds as this speech being okay, this harm and offense being okay, and then it leads to laws, ladies and gentlemen, that restrict the freedoms of people in society at large, such as the building of mosques and minarets, ladies and gentlemen, such as wearing the burqa, ladies and gentlemen. So we say it has a direct effect on the freedom of society at large, and that's harmful because these actually do prevent people from practicing core beliefs and core practices, one of which is not burning the Quran. I'll take closing.
Sir, the Ground Zero Mosque gave Barack Obama a chance to stand up and speak for pro-Islam groups. Isn't this exactly the type of speech that we need?
It is the exact type of speech we need, but we don't see how it's not going to happen inside of our context, ladies and gentlemen, because you can still speak out and say, I don't think you should be speaking so bigotedly about Muslims just because some of them blew up the World Trade Center doesn't mean all of them are terrorists. This is not the kind of speech that we're talking about banning, we're talking about burning of Quran. So